assuming you approve it when it comes time. So the model agrees with what you folks have already said you were going to do. The same thing with the sewer bill. The sewer bill is calling for an increase even before we add any projects. But again, you have a rate increase scheduled for October of this year. So and in fact, you have a two-year stepped increase plan, just like the model's showing there. Oh, I forgot to mention, there's an inset graph that tries to track cash and investment reserves in the sewer fund and the water fund, and the goal is to try and keep that fairly flat or maybe growing, you know, or at the very least to keep it positive. And I'll just flip back to the water so you can see that one there. So we're kind of bleeding a little cash in the water fund, but we're still staying positive as long as we stick with this sort of thing, okay? Or you have to eliminate spending, one or the other. Okay, now despite all those graphs, tax rates and water bill and so on, I think what the public wants to know is how much money is coming out of my pocket. I don't care what you call it a tax, call it a sewer bill, I don't care how much money. And this graph attempts to show how much per month more a certain type of residence will pay than it did in 2011, okay? Now, I do this monthly because a lot of folks escrow their taxes into their mortgage. The sewer and the water bills are monthly. And so you can see here in 2012, remember that jump in the tax rate because of the market value homestead exclusion? It would tell you that in 2012, this particular house, which is $115,000 worth of value, using 5,000 gallons of water a month, would pay close to $30 more a month than they did in 2011. But that is misleading. And that's because I have not yet plugged in the reduction in their value. Okay? So I'm going to go back to that first page. And up here at the top, I know what the formula is that the state uses. And for a $115,000 house, that taxable value will be reduced by 23% going into 2012. So I'm going to go up there and plug that in. I put it over there on the left just to remind me what the number was. Now look at that cost impact per month. Remember it was close to $30 a month? Okay, this reflects more of reality. Okay, this is pretty much where you're headed right here. So while this is maybe $11, $12 a month more, their taxes might go down a couple of bucks. So let's just call it $10 a month. So next year, this particular resident in Rushford's going to pay $10 more a month than they did in 2011.
And those are, the $115,000 is our median home value, and the 5,000 water use is...
That's high. The only reason we use 5,000 gallons of water is that's the standard for comparing to other cities.
Right.
So if you use less than 5,000 gallons of water, and most folks would, it won't even
that number will be down.
It's more probably like in that $7 or $8 a month range. Steve wanted me to do an annual one, so I also did that annually. Well, the graph doesn't go negative enough here. Let's see what that is. Oh, no. Yeah, number. It's $50. Okay. So it says in 2012 this house for the year is going to spend $150 more in sewer and water, but their taxes are going to go down roughly $50. So let's say 100. Let's call it $100 a year for the next year, more than they did in 2011. And if you're curious on these last two graphs, what this red line is here is, well, you can see it's 3%. If city tax